I'm watching the rise. And I wouldn't say I'm shocked cause I'm hardly surprised. This one's for the ride. This one's for who knew I'd make it, just needed some time. This one's for my wife. Could have left 1,000 times.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Randy Kaye, and I am the host of the Caught Up podcast. Today, we have AJ Robinson. He is the head coach at Cal State University San Marcos. AJ has spent time coaching travel ball as the president and founder of the Factory Softball Club and has had volunteer coaching jobs at San Marcos and San Diego State University before joining the staff at San Marcos full-time back in 2022. AJ is currently the sixth head coach at San Marcos. AJ, it's always great to see you. Thanks for taking the time to catch up.
Great to see you. I'm excited to chat about softball.
Yeah, man. How are things? How's the new job? Congrats, by the way. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. We're off to a 6-1 start. 7 games in 4 days. It was a lot. So today's an off day. Do a little catch up. But yeah, it's a really exciting team. We have 10 seniors. So a really veteran team this year, and that kind of makes my first year a little easier, having a lot of student assistant coaches, kind of helping. So, but yeah, we're off to a good start. Really excited about where we can go this year, and it's we're off and running.
Yeah, man. I noticed that you do have a very experienced team. What was the thought process like going into a year like this where you do have so many experienced kids? Did you feel the need to change things up a bunch, or did you are you just gradually kind of putting your signature on the program, or, what are your thoughts on that? How's that going?
Really not trying to change much. Steph Ewing was here and she was my head coach, and we're best friends. We, over the course of our, coaching together, we basically didn't disagree much on anything. So, got to give her a lot of credit. She really built this program, and now I'm just trying to kind of keep it going. But there'll be slight moderations in how we do things, but not big changes. And, we do have all those seniors, but, our goal is to play for a national championship every year. So this is a big year of development for some of our younger players as well, so that, next year we can continue to be, a perennial power.
Yeah, I noticed that when you say that, as I was going down your roster, lots of older, experienced kids, but it looks like you did what any good coach would do when you're, seem to be things are going well in your first tournament, right? You got a lot of freshmen, a little bit of time, like whether it was a base running opportunity or a pinch hit opportunity. Tell me about how that went for some of those youngsters.
That was definitely the plan. It's hard because in Division II regional rankings, game 1, game 50, they all count the same. And you really need to win those games. But, our big goal is to win our conference, and we need to develop our depth a little bit here in these non-conference games. So, some people think, well, you're not putting your best team out there. I don't feel that way at all. I feel like, the players that may not start the most can still play and start and contribute, and just to, for like a freshman to get their first at bat and kind of get that out of the way, pitch their first innings. Those things they'll really pay off for us as we go through the season, because we're going to need everybody. But yeah, it was fun, and everybody stepped up, and a lot of smiles, a lot of firsts. So yeah, great opening weekend, and we're off today. Catch up a little bit, get some schoolwork done, and then we're back at it Saturday, Sunday.
So what did that feel like? Your first win as a head coach at San Marcos?
I haven't really let it sink in yet. It's not about me; it's about the team, and there's some pretty big goals for this group of players that, we fell short in the regional championship against Western Washington last year, and it's really motivated them. They want to get back to the World Series this year. So I haven't really let that settle in. My assistant coach gave me the game ball, and it was in a nice little cube, and I'll really appreciate that somewhere down the road. But right now it's all business, and after the season's over, we'll kind of look back at some of the things that we did.
Right. What like what has been like your first big challenge as a head coach, like, or any setbacks or any like decisions? Are there been anything big that you've had to like look at and overcome?
Great question. I might have to think about that one for a second.
Okay.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of responsibility with, the travel and the meals and, just all of the administrative work that, I share that with my assistant. I shared that with Steph, the last few years. So, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes for a head coach. I think, Steph and I used to sit down and kind of talk about lineups. And, she's not here. Coach Razzo, who is an amazing addition, our pitching coach. So that's just kind of a different dynamic, how we talk about that and make some decisions. But yeah, I mean, it's very similar, but I have a lot of respect for what head coaches go through because you have to make the final decisions. And so that's a new thing for me. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. But that's probably the biggest thing that's new for me.
And are you going to kind of, utilize your assistants the same way Steph utilized you and kind of empower them to give them some input and bounce ideas off of them? Like, is Coach Razzo, is she just in charge of the pitching? I know she's the pitching coach and was a former pitcher, but is that something that's her responsibility?
Pitching, definitely her responsibility, but she contributes in so many ways. So it's not just pitching. And, we've had conversations. She's a young superstar coach, and I want her to learn all the ins and outs, be very involved so that, at some point she can become a head coach. I think she has the passion to get to that point somewhere down the road. And I think that's, kind of like you try and build your team up, you got to build your staff up a little bit too. And we recently brought on Rick Aldrich, who coached with OC Batbusters for years. He was at Fountain Valley High School for a long time. So he's a great addition, and it's fun having him with us with his experience, and we can just kind of bounce thoughts and ideas off each other and come to the best choices.
Yeah, I noticed that. And I was going to ask you, I mean, how does someone get a volunteer job? Like, what does that entail? Like, what's the process there?
Well, you don't make much money, so you have to have the ability to do it without really getting any income from that.
Kind of like a travel ball coach, right?
Very similar. Yeah. I think volunteer assistant in college might be just a little more profitable than travel ball.
Yeah.
But just we had a need for some more people helping. I want to give our players the best opportunity to grow and be their best. And I'm a full-time position. Coach Razzo's a 0.75, so she's not a full-time. We have a student manager who's great, Nick. But just the ability to have someone at practice with some experience, with the same kind of mindset that I have, and they'll communicate the drills and the thought processes to the players. It's great because we get more reps. And to me, that's a big deal. So, I mean, if you're out there looking to get into college softball, if you can reach out to some local programs, talk to the coaches, see if they need someone in a capacity that you can kind of fill, that's a great opportunity.
Cool. Do you see any? And I know that you run a program out of San Diego before. I know that you've been in the Southern California area for a while. Does having a coach like that, does it help you recruiting wise, or it's probably not too hard to recruit people to San Marcos, right? I mean, wouldn't suck to live and go to school there.
Yeah, I think the only thing, in Division II, you get 7.2 scholarships, and we have right around 3. So we don't have the money to compete with, other schools, but we do have the beach and the weather, and yeah, it's a pretty great place. And, Rick has connections. We really haven't utilized him in that capacity yet. There's so much great softball here in Southern California, and so many people looking to come play at San Marcos. It's a great school. We're growing rapidly, building new buildings. It's a beautiful campus. If you're ever in the area, just drive through it and check it out. It's a pretty special place being part of San Diego.
Yeah, I definitely got to check it out. I've never been there, but I mean, I've looked it up a little bit and checked it out, and looks like a great place. So let's talk about what inspired you to coach. Like, why do you coach? Why do you coach fast pitch softball?
I think I have to go way, way back. I'm almost 55.
Okay. Look good for 55.
I don't know. I'm a little sunburnt. Missed out on some sunblock this weekend. But
well, I was down in at Rosetta this past weekend, and it was hot.
Yeah,
it was hot during the day.
It was cold. Like, we were in the batting cages at 7:00 in the morning, and I was in a parka. But then by mid-morning, it was really nice. So, but anyway, my grandpa Willie, coached Legion ball. I grew up in Nebraska, and I just remember, I mean, it's hard to remember things from when you're really, really young, but I do remember just how much his players loved him. He was a player's coach, and they just raved about Grandpa Willie. And I have very few memories, but I do remember getting 10 cents for a foul ball and a piece of bubble gum and all that. So I kind of grew up on a baseball field. I had great youth baseball coaches. I had 2 former pro ball players that coached me, like in Babe Ruth and Legion, and they made it so fun. And like, practice was fun. And so I kind of grew up in this fun environment of playing the game, and I fell in love with the game, and it's a great game. And then I had a daughter. Well, actually, let me back up. I played college baseball because this is important.
What position?
Kind of everywhere. I was a middle. I put on 40 pounds the first semester of college, and then I became a corner. And I had some arm issues.
Lean muscle?
There was a lot of starch in that cafeteria food.
Right.
But I was injured, and the coach asked me to redshirt, and I really didn't want a redshirt. I just wanted to do something. I was a good golfer, and I played college golf that spring of my freshman year, and then I transferred to Nebraska, Omaha, played 1 year there. And unfortunately, I was a poor student, and that ended my college baseball career. But, things happen, and down the line, it's really helped me as a coach later in life. But after college baseball, I played some highly competitive slow pitch, and then ended up moving to Phoenix, then to San Diego, had a daughter. I still had all this love, and she got to be, old enough for T-ball. And this is actually kind of a funny story. So my wife, we moved around a little bit, and we were living in Beverly Hills. I'm the Beverly Hillbilly, trust me. But so we're playing, and they're like, well, we need some coaches for T-ball. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So this is pretty funny. So we get one practice before our first game, and it's like 30 minutes, and we have to hand out uniforms and meet everybody. So we really don't even practice. Our first game, T-ball, is on a turf field, big turf field, and the very first batter hits a 25 hopper through the infield, but it just keeps rolling on that turf like 300 feet from home plate. And my entire team is in a dog pile 300 feet from home plate, and it's the most adorable thing you could ever see. But I hear a mom go, this coach does not know what he's doing. And I'm like, all right, let's take a picture of today, and then we'll take a picture at the end of the season. And it was a great season and a lot of fun. But that got me into coaching my daughter, which got me into rec ball, and then club, which I started the factory in 2013 and had 11 great years, amazing relationships. Travel ball was really a lot of fun for me. And, if you want to go into that, we can go into travel ball a little bit down the road. But then, Steph got hired at Cal State San Marcos. She had been recruiting my shortstop from travel ball. So we knew each other. We'd talked a lot. And she's like, I need a volunteer. Will you come help me? And I did. And it was the best phone call and best decision I ever made, because I absolutely love coaching college softball. It's great.
Where did you meet Steph?
So we met at the NFCA.
You said you were recruiting. I didn't know if there was a Phoenix connection because, I don't know if you know, but I'm sure you know, but she's from Phoenix as well.
Yeah. No, so she was recruiting my shortstop, but I think we met before that at the NFCA convention. We were having dinner, ended up sitting side by side, just started chatting, and she's just such a great person to talk with. And that might have been where we first met, or else it was out on the fields talking to her in the stands about our shortstop. But yeah.
What were you doing in Phoenix? Did you move here to live, or
I did. So I had a silkscreen business in Nebraska, in Omaha, and we had the on-field shirt for the Huskers, and they won the national championship 94, 95, 97. That was really fun, a lot of work, but great times. Great time to be a Big Red fan. In 98, I was just kind of like at a place where I needed to make a change, and some of my former teammates from Nebraska, Omaha were in Phoenix working in the golf industry. So I'm like, I want to get out to warm weather and play some golf and do sales. And so I went out there, went to the Holiday Bowl. Nebraska was playing Arizona, drove over, ended up sitting next to my future wife out of 65,000 people. I'm sitting right next to my future wife. We met that night, and it's been great. We'll be married 25 years here in June. So it was pretty great experience. Nebraska lost Arizona, though, so that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, and so you had a silk screening business, and you were making the on the field shirts, you said?
Yep.
What does that mean? Like what they wore after they won?
So when at the end of a championship, you'll see people handing out the T-shirts and the hats that say national champions. And that is the shirt that everybody wants. All the fans want to buy that. So it was pretty cool. I don't think I slept for 3 days after they beat Miami in the 94 season. We just worked, but it was great.
Awesome. So you have some, how did that silk screening business, did it translate over to travel ball or any of that other stuff? Because obviously there's a big side of that now. In our world, as you know. I
worked for two different companies. One, I was a sales manager. The other one, I was a partner. And we actually did all of the custom stuff for Charlie Rose Baseball, who was becoming a big national chain retail. They unfortunately went out of business. But yeah, very familiar with silk screening numbers and custom small runs. We added a player. We need one more shirt. It's it's a lot of work. We didn't have sublimation and heat transfers. Back then it was set up 4 screens and print one shirt, and it was a lot of work.
That always interests me. That, and I've always been fascinated. I actually just had this conversation with construction, surveying, how they survey the ground and, how they get everything level and staking. That stuff just really interests me. Let me ask you this about, so Nebraska Cornhuskers, obviously you were talking about them and the run they had. Do you remember 1996, 19-0?
I was at that game.
Were you at that game?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That stadium was on fire that night. It was, I think it was Scott Frost's first game, maybe, after Tommy Frazier. And, we're all excited. Hey, we're going to where it's warm and we're going to play some golf. And we got smoked by the Sun Devils. But I think that was 90. Wasn't that 97?
I think it was the 97.
Oh, no, it was 90. It was 96.
Yeah, it was the 97 New Year, right?
Yeah, so, it was 96.
So it's funny. I was actually working nights back then for a telecommunication company. We used to build telecommunication cable. It was my first real good job. And I remember I was working nights. We had to go from 11 to 7 a.m., 11 at night till 7 in the morning. And I remember telling my boss, who was an ASU alum, and I said, dude, probably won't happen, but if ASU wins, I'm not coming in. I won't be here tonight. And of course, I'm watching a game, and we got pizza and wings, and ASU was doing pretty well, and it was going to be fun. And I just remember everybody's drinking. That I had to go to work, so I was just kind of hanging. And then as the game got better, start drinking a little bit. But the funny part is I just remember that game the whole time. Well, this is the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and believe me, they will score. They will score. They will score. That was probably one of the funnest times I've had. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't there. Funny thing though, I ended up not going in that night, and I actually ended up on Mills somewhere. I know that. Like, I remember getting down there for the end of tearing down the goalpost and things like that. I mean, that was such a fun season, and it was fun too to watch them just recently, play Texas and seeing Jake Plummer on the field there. Here and there. I thought that was fun, man. That was some good times. You guys have had your championships. Arizona State hasn't been able to get it done yet, but that was good times. Tell me, so how does the leadership on this? I know it's an older group, and we're bouncing around a little bit, but I was kind of having fun with some stuff. You have a senior heavy group. It looks like a lot of seniors and a lot of redshirt seniors. So that means they got one more year, right?
No, they're all done.
They're done. Okay.
Yeah. So COVID 2020 was first year for about half of them, right? No. 21, we didn't play. We have one player that played in 2020. She's in her 6th year. She was out with an ACL injury. Great leader on our team, catcher Gianna. And then all of the others, their first year was 2021 of college softball. We didn't play. And that was tough because staff had to do Zooms, and, you remember COVID was not a lot of fun. So they didn't play. And then the 21 class, they're actual seniors this year. So the 2020s and 21s are kind of combined as seniors. So they'll all be done this year. They're really determined. They've had a lot of success. I mean, freshmen, their first year, we won conference. Second year, we went to the World Series. Last year, we won conference tournament, got upset by Western Washington in regional final. They beat us twice on the last day. So, they're highly motivated, great group of not only players, but student athletes. We do a ton of community work, but they lead, they make sure the practices, over 4 years, they've learned when practice isn't going great, stop it, fix it so that it can be productive. So that's a real benefit of senior leadership. They understand, and they're so highly motivated and driven for success. So that's great. The other thing about it is, like, our freshmen and sophomores are really bought in to that. And so, the big thing for the senior group is we talk about leave a legacy. Like, what's this program going to be like when you leave? And they're doing a great job of just really making sure that the younger players understand what it takes.
Yeah. Would you say that you're a player's coach? Are you like a disciplinarian? Like, what would you say?
I a little bit of both. I think we have a lot of fun, and I think that's important. And we joke, our music is blasting every day at practice intentionally so that it makes communication a little bit tough. I have a checklist of hundreds of things that we're going to practice throughout the season and make sure that we're prepared. When we're not in a good place, like, I will let them know that we need to fix it. But I think, overall, I would be a player's coach because I think I have a great relationship with the players, not only softball wise, but just like, how's it going? What's going on? Yeah, they're people. They're always people. The alumni, I have their birthdays in my phone every time it's a player's birthday, and like check in with them. It's great. Really proud of our alumni and what they're doing in the professional world. It's great watching them. A bunch of weddings and babies and jobs, and so I would say I'm a player's coach. Not. I'm a little bit of a disciplinarian. There's things that just, I have pet peeves. Like, if we've got work to do, don't be standing around watching other people do it. help out. So, but they know. So, and when they're not, like, I'll subtly call them out and be like, yo, it's not time for a TikTok. It's time to push that rake. We gotta get this field dry, but they're really good about that. So we have a lot of humor.
How do you keep your team connected off the field?
They do that.
They do that.
They do a great job. I mean, they'll have pumpkin carving. They'll do Friendsgiving. They do a lot of stuff. All of our players live really close to campus. The freshmen, almost all of them live in the dorms, but they're so close that almost every player on our team has one of those little electric scooters that they ride from their house. Oh my gosh. I might have to put in some more spots. There's so many scooters, but they really do a good job. I mean, we've got the beach. It's close. There's music festivals all the time. They go to the Padres games. Most of them think it's a Dodgers game, not a Padres game. But, they do a good job. And we try and do stuff. We had a great day. We went over to the Boys and Girls Club during a winter break. I think it was, they were having like a day camp. And honestly, it was our players and the kids from Boys and Girls Club. They had the best time ever. The beach yoga that we do, like we do a lot of fun stuff that keeps them together, but they also, have the ability to go home on the weekends, especially in the fall over the break. Our families travel great. Like there were so many people in Orange County last weekend for the games, and it's nice. We have a lot of California kids on our team, and our families really love to come and support the players at the games.
Yeah, I noticed that. There's the majority, right? I think almost every single kid's from California.
Yeah, we do have a few out of state, and we'll definitely recruit out of state. It's just, in California, the tuition at a Cal State school is pretty affordable. And there's so many softball players here locally.
But as you know, a lot of Arizona kids, man, they jump at the chance to go to,
heck yeah,
go to California. Yeah. So I know the money side, like you said, the state schools is not as bad, but I've dealt with some schools where it's literally going to be like $40,000 and they got no money. And I'm like, that's a tough one, but I know, my years of dealing with Steph and you guys over there, I know that it's a little different. So, we're always excited to try to get kids in front of you. Let's talk about the start of your season. I know we touched on it a little bit. 6-1, 5-0 in your first tournament. Tell me about your team. Tell me what went as planned. Tell me what, maybe was a little bit surprising, good or bad. Fill me in on that.
Well, when you have that many veteran players, the last week of practice, we were really just like, can we just get to game day? So we had to really kind of refocus every day at practice the week before and just work on little things. So we were really prepared, really fired up, ready to go. One of the big things that we're trying to work on this year is we have like 4 different modes of offense, like how we're going to approach our at-bats, our base running, things like that. So that's new, not completely new, but just I felt like, sometimes the players need to know the why a little more. Steph, it's not a lot different than what Steph and I have done in the past, but we really kind of bought into the why of why we're going to maybe be aggressive or patient and base running this way or that way. So, that's a big thing that we'll work on all year long so that we can kind of perfect that. But I felt like, we wanted to be aggressive with the bat, with the base running. Those fields are big. They're 220 with 10-foot fence. So we wanted to hit a lot of line drives. A big deal for us is to increase our OPS this year, and it doesn't have to come through home runs so much as doubles and triples. And on those fields, they're big. It was tough for the outfield to play. So offensively, we did what we wanted to do. We'll continue to work on that. We play our home games in a pitcher's park. It's not big, but the wind blows straight in, and the ocean air the ball just doesn't carry. We play a lot of low score games. So, we kind of, if we're in a struggle like we were yesterday, we, first game we had 4 hits. We're just kind of not really, our timing wasn't great. So we just have to work at that mode of our offense a little bit, of maybe being a little bit more about manufacturing runs. But, we played good defense. I haven't looked at the stats. I think we only had a couple of errors so far. Last year, we led the nation in double plays turned per game. And I think I counted 4 double plays that we didn't turn this weekend, just maybe a little slow in a transition, a little bit of a bobble. But like, we could have had probably 9 or 10 double plays. So we'll clean that up a little bit. I feel like our defense is something that in the fall we didn't work on as much as we did the offense. So, that's something we'll emphasize. Just ball security, ball control. And then our pitching was good, a little bit wild. I think the first day we had a lot more walks and hit batters, especially that first game against Chaminade. It's early. They're finding their way. And honestly, they need to play their best softball at the end of the season. So, obviously game 1's important. Last game's important, but we're building. And the pitching, we have a lot of talent in the circle. Really excited for what they're going to be able to do. So overall, just everything was really good. We just got to clean up and never be satisfied with where we're at as a team. Get better every day, 1% better every day.
When you talk about the 4 modes, can you get into that a little for me? Like, what is that, at a high level? We don't have to get into the weeds, but.
Yeah, so I want our hitters to be confident and in attack mode. And that's kind of our normal. Like, I want you to feel free. Like, that first pitch, if it's where you want it, I want you swinging, and, we don't get jammed. Be early, let it fly, hit a foul ball. I don't care. Let's not get tied up on a pitch early. So that's kind of our norm. Then we kind of go up from there to crazy mode, where it's like, you're swinging, let it fly.
Out of your shoes swinging?
Yes and no.
Well, at least out of your shoes mindset, but obviously we never want them undone in any way, but.
I think it's just be very free, and like when you see that ball, like let it go, just go attack. And it's the same way on the bases. Like, we're going to second. You hit a single, you're going to second. Like, very aggressive. The other side of it is you can kind of back it down a little bit to where we need to be a little more patient. Like, we're chasing. We need to, our timing's not great. We need to back it down a little bit, maybe take a pitch, be a little safer on the bases. So there's 4 modes of it, and it really kind of depends on your opponent a little bit. But we're just kind of trying to figure all that out. And, the score of the game, if you're down a couple late, be patient, try and pass the bat, get the tying run to the plate, things like that. And we've done it in the past. It's just, I think anytime a player can understand the why, like in the past, we'd be like, hey, you got to take till you have a strike. And, you take one right down the middle, and it's kind of like, man, I can't believe coach made me take that. But now understanding that your job is just to get to first base. And so it's been great. I love it. Our team has really bought into it. Like, after, we had our first loss yesterday. We had 4 hits. We struggled with our timing a little bit. The kids felt like they were trying to hit home runs. I didn't think that, but it was just, we were kind of off a little bit. We didn't change modes like we needed to yesterday. We bounced back the next game and we were fine, but just kind of learning how to go in and out of different modes of offensive strategy.
Yeah. Is that something that you as a coaching staff, you and your coaching staff, say, hey, we're changing modes here? Or is that something that you allow your players to just do themselves?
The coaches run it. In our dugout, we have a little flip thing. It's got 4 different boards on it in the color that we're in, and then why we're in that. So when you're in the hole, you're standing right next to that and you're looking, it's like, okay, we're in yellow. So I'm taking till I get a strike. my job's to get on base. So it just kind of helps them prepare for when they get in the box. They already know, like, hey, I'm trying to move a runner. I'm trying to take some pitches. And we talk about stacking quality at bat on top of one another, things like that. But yeah, it's in the dugout. We'll switch it throughout the game, and our players love to be in the crazy mode.
Yeah. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah. And I love it when they're in the crazy mode. But sometimes when we're just kind of struggling with something that the defense or pitcher is giving us, we just need to kind of be a little more patient. And we're learning how to do that.
Yeah, because we've all seen it. I mean, I was at an event this weekend down at Rosetta, like I told you, and we're in our second bracket game, and we come out and we scored. I think we scored 10 in that game against a really good team too. Oh, my bad. Against a really good team. And then the very next game, we were only able to get a run. And so I felt like we went from crazy mode into like, we stayed in crazy mode, but it was a different game, different pitcher, different scenario too, because we were down. It's easy to stay in that mode when you go up 3-0 in the first, and then your pitcher's dealing and your defense is solid. And so, no, I know exactly how that feels. I wanted to ask you, what about your two-strike approach? Are you big on, is there any one thing that you guys like to do, or that you preach to your team with two strikes?
It's mandatory on our team to do the timing swing. So we shorten up, show barrel, smaller load. We want to put the ball in play, cut down on strikeouts. And quite honestly, we had a ton of home runs with two strikes because we're just short, efficient, not trying to do too much, not getting too big. And it's amazing how many home runs we hit with two strikes just by kind of simplifying and not overswinging.
That's something you practice, because a lot of times, of course, depending on the pitcher, I like to get my kids to choke up a little bit, and then more of a get to contact type, contact position. The kids that I work with, the kids that hit with me on the side, I mean, we do it every day. I'm kind of like you. Like, we focused a whole lot on defense. So I was the opposite this fall. I have pitching, and so my mindset was a pretty new team for me. Had some turnover last year, and so pretty much a whole new team. And so I had pitching, and so I wanted to make sure our defense was just locked down, because you can't have balls that should be outs, and then those turn into errors or plays that aren't made, and then your pitchers are you lose your pitchers mentally. But so I was kind of like that. But are you like a choke up guy, or is it a like a split grip? Is it anything like fundamental or technical, or is it mostly mental?
Choke up, I think, is good. I don't have any problem with that, but we really don't require that. It's just, put the bat out, slowly load. The loads tend to be shorter, and that gives you more ability to adapt to the pitch. And so just really, it's kind of like pepper a little bit, not quite that soft, but just, put the ball in play. Good things happen when you put the ball in play. Strikeouts, there's really nothing good that happens there. So really try and put the ball in play, but nothing real tricky. We practiced, we hit probably 70% of our practice time. And, when we hit, we bunt a lot. We work on where we're bunting, how hard we're bunting. We work on hit and run. We work on hitting the ball in the air, trying to hit sacrifice flies, hit gaps with runners in scoring position. And then when we get to two strikes, we need to find a way to be productive and move a runner. So that's in our bag of tricks too.
So I'm looking at your stats, and number 30, Savannah Coyle, is also your pitcher. So two-way player. Tell me a little bit about her. Looks like she started off the season pretty well. She took that tough one yesterday, only giving up 2 runs, right? I think you'd feel pretty good about that normally in any game.
Yep.
But tell me a little bit about her and what that senior brings to the table?
Well, Sav is a pretty special player. She actually started her travel ball career with me. So we've been together for a long time. She played with Sean with the Firecrackers for a little bit too, but I've known her and the family for a long time. She's a really special player, left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter, and just she can do it all. She was a third-team All-American as a freshman, has had a great career with us, and is really one of those seniors that's motivated and ready to go. I give her a hard time because she's got a great kind of inside out swing and she just hits laser beams. But I'm like, I need you to hit the ball to right field. That's where the ball carries at our park. You know, you can mash it to left center and the wind's going to kill it. So yesterday she hit a home run to right field and it's like about time. You know, that's just kind of the way that we go about stuff. We give each other a hard time, but that was really nice. She's a great hitter and pitcher, top notch. Last year in the conference tournament, she was base running and dislocated her shoulder, and wasn't available for regionals, which was kind of a bummer for us at the end of last year. But she's healthy and back.
Yeah, they have that left side spin.
Yeah, she really moves it. Great kid, very competitive. Team loves to play behind her because she's like really fired up and a great part of our team. We have a bunch of Savs on our team, but Sav is a pitcher hitter. That's pretty special when you can have that. We were this weekend kind of playing around with a few different lineups where she could hit and we could sub and run. The amount of lineup changes that I can make is incredible. We're so deep. She's a special player. And
looks like who led you in RBI this weekend or the first 7 games has been Paige Donnelly, another senior. Tell me about Paige and what she brings to the table.
So you get the 2 kids that actually played club for me.
Nice. All right. I see a pattern here.
Paige is from Poway and local kid, great family, one of the best pure power hitters I've ever seen at any level. And she can play at any level. She hits everything. Like there's nothing that she's weak at. She's really good at making adjustments for the kind of power that she has. She's really compact and, she's a special kid. It's, she gets pitched around a lot, but what we've been able to do with our lineup is really, put people in front and behind her that they're going to have to pitch to her. And that helps our team a lot. Special player, great first baseman. She, again, another kid that was a third-team All-American as a freshman, had a great career. She's going to have a great season.
And who do you have next?
We are at Azusa on Saturday. The game time got moved back. We play at 2 and 4 up at Azusa. Strong team out of the Pac West. Great coaching, excited to go play them. And then we come back on Sunday and we host Vanguard on Super Bowl Sunday. They just moved up fully into D2. They're a really strong team. They came to our place last year and they swept us in a doubleheader. Really, really talented group of players from Vanguard. So, another tough weekend, but that's what we like. It's why the West region has had a team in the championship series 3 of the last 4 years at the World Series. Whoever comes out of this region is really well prepared to go to the World Series and compete. So just a typical week out West, got 4 tough games, and we'll go out there and do our best.
Vanguard, isn't that where, wasn't Amber Freeman there for a while?
Yeah, Sydney Landers is, she just got married. I don't know her new last name, but she's a great coach and great players. They have some superstars on that team. So we'll definitely be ready to battle them. And then we have one more week of non-conference, and then we start conference. Conference is a challenge. We play 4-game sets, doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday. So it's intense. I was looking back at the standings from our tournament at Concordia, and we had 3 5-0 teams in our conference, a 4-1, and I think 4 3-2 teams. And I was so happy for our conference until I was like, oh man, we have to play all those teams.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be an exciting year. Lots of great teams out west. I highly recommend, to the travel ball kids and coaches, if you get a chance. I know Division I is the dream, and it's outstanding softball, but Division II, there's really, really good talent and players, and highly recommend going out and watching some D2, some JUCO, D3. We have some of the best D3 teams in the nation. So if you're in the Southwest, go out and watch some college softball when you get a chance. You can learn a lot about the game.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out. And I got to imagine in a 4-game set, so it's the same team, 2 games Friday night, 2 games Saturday.
2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday.
So it's the best team's going to probably come out ahead.
It's hard. Every series is a dogfight, and that's why, in our conference, it's very rare to have somebody just kind of get away from the rest of the field, because every weekend's it's a battle, and being 500 in our conference is really good. So I'm excited about it. I think we have great coaches in our conference, even in our non-conference too. The Pac-West is loaded, so our whole schedule, we don't leave California, but we play some really great teams, and so it's fun. And like I said, I think it's really worth the watch to aspiring college softball players to come and check out some.
For a guy like me, or for another travel ball coach, or even a player or family, if you could circle one series on your calendar for someone to watch at your place, who would it be?
There's so many. We host Concordia in a midweek doubleheader. We always have great battles with them. Our conference, it could be any single weekend, but I know that we play East Bay the last home series of conference, and they were 5-0. They have a really, really good team. But any weekend, it's great softball. We don't look at our schedule and say, okay, that's 4 wins. That's not reality. It's go out there and work and, take care of business. And we talk a lot about game 4 and how much that means, because everybody's a little bit tired. And if we can just keep playing good, solid softball in game 4 and get that win, not get sloppy. And that's one of the benefits of having so much depth this year, and me getting some of those players some opportunities and at bats, that we can stay, I think, a little more fresh than other teams, because we have so many good players on this team.
Yeah. Let's talk about recruiting. Obviously we've had a great relationship for a long time. I really enjoy when we have players go to your camps, because whether it was you or Steph, you guys are always very good about communication and honest communication, right? That's important. Coach Razzle's been at some games that I've spoken to her about, and she's been very direct and very, the message has been clear on what you guys are looking for. But let's talk about what kind of players are you looking to recruit for your program?
That's a big question. I think it starts with integrity. That's a big deal to us, because we have a really close-knit group. Our team, it's a family, and we want people that will come into that group and contribute and be a part. Academically, we have high standards in the classroom, so we look at GPAs. Definitely, it's not hard to be eligible in NCAA, or, for our school, I believe it's like 2.2 GPA. But if you're a 2.2, I think that's a red flag. Why are we at that level? We're going to have to babysit you. So, grades are obviously important. How you treat your parents, how you treat your teammates. I always talk about, I love the kids that are picking up the gear and carrying the buckets and all that stuff, because that matters when you buy in and do that. Then you get into the, the athletic side of it. And, in Division II, I think it's important to have kids that are versatile, ability to play different positions, coachable, do different things. The team dynamic, we have 4 modes of offense. Can you operate in those 4 modes of our offense? Can you catch and throw the ball at a high level? We want to lead the nation in double plays every year. So there's a lot of really, really good players out there, and it's really difficult to find the perfect fit. There's a lot of people that want to play here, and unfortunately we can't take them all. But I think it's just, do you do the things that we want players to do at our program? We have a lot of players that could play shortstop or center field or right field, or they might play third base, first base. They might catch and play another position. So I think that is important. Like for a catcher, you can't catch doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday. College softball is way harder than travel ball. It's not an hour and 15 drop dead, So, but if you can catch and you can play third, or you're such a great hitter that you're going to be our DP when you're not like all those little variables. One of our best players on the team this year, Madison Waymeyer, she played second and first base in travel ball, but now she plays left, right, third, DP, first. Like she can play anywhere on the field, and she bats 1 or 2 in our lineup. When she needs some rest, she's a great option as DP. So just those players they have the ability to be versatile. I think that's a big thing. And then, we have specific needs too for our team. We might be looking for somebody that can get ground balls in the circle, feed our defense, or somebody that can get fly balls, whatever. It just, it changes year by year as people come and go. But, there's so many great options out there. And I know recruiting is tough right now. I think, Division I's kind of in a holding pattern, waiting to see if they're going to have roster limits and how many scholarships, things like that. So it's been challenging for recruits. My advice is just hang in there, keep being your best self, and you'll find your place. There's so many great places. I coached club and sent kids to colleges for a long time, and it's amazing. A school gets some interest in a player and they reach out, and then you start researching that school, and it's like, holy cow, that's a great school, and what a great fit for this kid. So the opportunities are out there, and, just kind of start putting together a checklist of what you want, what's good, what's bad. Don't be afraid of cold weather. My daughter went to NYU. It's a Division III school. They didn't play for a couple of years because of COVID. But one of the best schools in the world, there's so many great schools. I sent a couple of kids to MIT. Like,
nice.
They're going to be okay. They're going to do all right, So, recruiting is definitely challenging, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not in club anymore because it's hard. But it'll come together for those kids. Just got to keep looking and grinding, getting better, and the opportunities will come.
How are you guys on your 26 class? Are you guys done? Are you still kind of
just starting? We have a huge 25 class coming in to kind of replace all these 10 seniors that are going out. 26, we're really just starting. Actually got our first commit Sunday in the 26 class, but we're a long ways from being done in 26.
How many do you think you're going to take?
It'll be a smaller class, probably 5 or 6. It could come from JUCO as well, but we have time to evaluate, and there's so many good players out there, and we just want to make sure that we bring in the ones that it's a great fit.
How much do you work in the portal or the bounce back kids that go away? They're good enough to go away somewhere and then decide they want to come home.
So we really haven't been in the portal much. We do have a player on the team currently that we got out of the portal. She's a pitcher, senior, but we haven't really been in the portal a lot. Like to bring in kids, have them 4 years. There's a lot more than just softball that we do here, so that gives us a chance to kind of help them grow as people. But not a big thing for us. I think there's a lot of talent in JUCO. So if you need immediate help, you can go there as well. Losing 10 seniors, we're going to add 2 more pitchers to next year's team. So we'll look at 25s, we'll look at JUCO, we'll look at the portal, but it's not a big thing for us. Now at San Diego State, it was a little bit different. They had a lot of kids out of the portal, and it was successful. it was pretty amazing. I was a volunteer, but there were players from Florida, Tennessee, Oregon, Oklahoma. Like it was pretty cool. And you can definitely be successful that way. But for us, I think our preference is to bring in freshmen.
Yeah. What did you learn? I wanted to touch on that too. What, from San Diego State, what did you learn there, being there, and that you're able to kind of bring to and add to your coaching style? Is there anything that you picked up that stands out?
Yeah, tons. It was Kathy's last year and Nuvi's last year as associate head coach, and Mia Longfellow was there. It was incredible. Really great softball people. So I definitely grew tons as a coach. It was during COVID. It was brutal. The student athlete experience was not great, but they did get to play. I think we had 3 or 4 different masks. We had a practice, we had a bus, we had an airplane. It was really hard logistically. You test for COVID 3 or 4 times a week, and but the facilities, the coaches, like it was such a great experience for me. I learned and grew so much that year as a coach and as a person. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity. And, the players that were there were phenomenal. Some great athletes and great people. So yeah, very blessed for that opportunity.
Do you keep in touch with any of the coaches or the former players?
Yeah, both. Maggie Ballant, she came and run some pitching clinics for my club. She's moved, so she's not local anymore. Danielle is a catcher from Florida. We met in Colorado just to catch up, and it's great. And again, I have all these birthdays in my phone, so I'll shoot them a text. And I think just keeping in touch with them is really important. And the coaching staff, they're some of my best friends. I mean, we're busy. We don't spend a lot of time together, but like Nuvi, phenomenal. Mia, like one of the best people. Yeah. And coach, she taught me a lot, and I hope that she goes in the NFCA Hall of Fame. She was outstanding player and outstanding career. And yeah, it was a great year. It sucked in a lot of ways for San Marcos, and Steph, it was really hard for her. I was able to go coach softball and learn a lot, and I'll treasure that forever.
What's one of besides the beach? I mean, a beach is probably a huge selling point, but what's another selling point when you're recruiting players to San Marcos?
Well, the school's fantastic. Tons of different degree programs. I think we're building 6 brand new buildings right now. It's kind of a little hidden college in a big city. I think San Diego's like number 7 biggest city in the country or something. It's a big city, but we're kind of a small town in San Diego. So you can basically do whatever you want in San Marcos. Right close to the university, we have everything that you need, shopping wise, great little restaurants and stuff for kids to do. But then you can hop on the coaster and be downtown in 30, 45 minutes and go to Major League Baseball, the concerts. Obviously, our kids love music. The beach is close. The weather's generally nice. We do on occasion get a little rain, but it's not that bad. So you can go snow skiing in 2.5 hours. You can be in the beach at 20 minutes and go up to LA. It's just really a great spot to be. And for our families, having a major airport in San Diego, in Orange County, it's pretty easy to hop on a Southwest flight, get down here and watch our team play. And have a good time while you're here.
I have to imagine Mexico's a little off limits.
I don't think our players go to Mexico.
That's probably more when we were younger, I guess.
Yeah, I go to Cabo. I have a timeshare down there, and I love, in August when I need my little week break, I go down there and play some golf. And but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff that's close.
How do you how do you maintain relationships with kids that you're recruiting? Say a kid you had at your camp, you liked her. Like, is there any specific way that you stay in touch with a player like that?
I probably could do a way better job. Some schools, I know they're almost overbearing. Like they need to talk to the kid every week. I kind of like to keep the communication more quick text exchange, shoot me your videos. Like I don't need to know everything that you're doing. I do like to talk to them. I like to talk to their families. I like the families to be comfortable with me and our program. So I think those conversations are really important because, Steph and I talked about this all the time. We're almost like surrogate parents for 4 years to these kids. And we want there to be a real comfort level of, who we are as people and what we're going to be trying to help your child do to become an adult. And when they graduate, go get a job. So those family communications, I think, are really important. But I don't want to I don't know. I'm old. Like, take care of business, go play ball, have fun. Like, be a kid. You're only a kid once, and just keep your nose clean.
What platforms do you recruit on? Social media platforms, X, I'm assuming. You watch X videos as far as the players, game videos or practice videos. And then what other platforms, if any, are you following kids?
So I get tons of emails. And someone like Sports Recruits, that's a great platform because I want video. I want to see video. I want all the information. There's others that do it. Athletes Go Live and people like that. There's some great resources out there. But I love the emails. I go through them. If it's easy for me to click on a quick link, see some video, like, okay, I like that. We have a ranking system to where we put our kids into our database, and that way we can kind of, narrow it down. There's so many people that want to come here. But I think, a couple of important keys is make sure you have all the information in your emails. Have your best videos at the top. Like, I don't want to hunt through a bunch of highlight video. I want skill video, 5 swings from the side, fielding, stuff like that. Easy stuff for me to kind of get a quick evaluation at the top. The rest of it, some game video is good, some's terrible. But that would be my recommendation is go get a skills video, or if you want to do it on a lower budget, make your own, but have 5 consecutive swings, and get some balls to your position and make the plays, make the throws. That makes it easy for me to evaluate. I love Twitter, X. It's easy. It's quick. They'll tweet out a highlight. They'll tweet out their weekend schedule. I'm following. I get notifications. It's less cluttered than my email. So yeah. I'm not trying to go for a record of followers on X, but to me, it's a valuable tool. I like that. So I don't even know my handle.
I actually not DM'd, but I think I might have DM'd. I can't remember, but I actually sent something to Musk and was like, hey, you really need to add a side of recruiting for, athletes, because that's, to me, it's one of the most widely used. Are you tag coaches or no tag coaches on Twitter?
I don't really care. Hey, if you're tagging me and you're tagging Patty Gasso, I feel pretty good about myself, but right. I don't think we're recruiting the same player. I don't really pay attention to that so much. And, if a kid's going to someone else's camp and, I see it, it's like, I'm happy for that kid. Like, go after it, go find your best fit. So I don't really care about that. I know some people probably have strong opinions, but I don't really pay attention. I'm watching the video, I'm seeing what they say, and just building my database on that player of what I think they are.
Right. You're not looking to see who else is tagged. And then, oh, by the way, I was the last one on here. Yeah. So, yeah. And it's funny because I actually have asked a lot of coaches this, and they're the same. They're like, hey, tag us, then we know you're interested. Like, I'm good with it either way. Cool, man. You got anything else for me before we wrap this up? Anything you want to put out there? Any final thoughts?
No, I don't think so. It's been fun, man. Love catching up with you and talking softball, and excited about our season. Happy to have a day off today to kind of regroup.
Yeah, and then here I go intruding on your day off.
No, this has been great, and sorry for the stuffed up nose. I generally speak a little more clearly than this, but it is what it is, and we're going to have a great season. And there's just so much great softball out there. I know Division I kicks off this week, and that's just going to even ramp things up for the fans more. So get out there, support your local colleges, and if you have questions, we're here to help. If you're a coach looking for ideas for a practice plan or a drill or whatever, we're all here. Everything I learned from somebody else, and it's my job to pass that on to others in the softball community, and let you or whoever put your own twist on things. And love talking softball. Super glad to be on the show with you today, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to hit you up on that, because anything we can get better at, I'm all about it. I don't claim to know everything. I know what I know, and I know enough to say that I don't know everything. So I appreciate you saying that. I hope others take advantage of it. And I'm going to try to get out and watch you guys. I don't know how, but because I do coach high school, but I gotta spread my wings a little bit and get out there and check out some other stuff. So, all right. I just want to say thanks for listening. We will continue working to elevate the sport and get caught up with those who are influential in the fast pitch community. And hopefully we can help you navigate your softball journey. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Caught Up with Randy Kaye, using the handle @CoachKAZ. You can listen to the audio version of this podcast on Google, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you consume your favorite content. Please follow us on X and Instagram using the handles @CoachKAZ. Thanks for listening.
This one's for my wife. Could have left 1,000 times just about my